Alola trainers, and welcome to our next installment of the Poke Lore Battle Decks entry for the TCG. Today we're doing a profile of a deck in the brand new meta. This is the 2017 through 2018 rotation. That's from Breakthrough on. And I am going to be focusing on the new Turbo Dark list today. This list is not the best. It's not going to be a tier 1 deck. It might not even be like a tier 2 deck, but it's very fun. I've been trying real hard to make it work, so hopefully this is something that you're interested in. And so for the Turbo Dark list, we're going to start with 4 of our main attacker, and that's Darkrai EX from Breakpoint. Darkrai EX, very good card. Its first attack is what we're most interested in here. The whole deck revolves around this, and that's a Dark Pulse. For 2 colorless, it does 20 plus. This attack does 20 more damage for each darkness energy attached to all of your Pokemon. This is great with things like Max Elixir and the new Darkrai that let you set out multiple energies per turn. We'll talk about that as we move along. His secondary attack, Dark Head, that's 80 plus for a darkness and 2 of any color. If your opponent's active Pokemon is asleep, this does 80 more damage. We're not going to worry about that one too much. Darkrai is on the lower side of the GX and EX scale with 180 HP. He's 2 times weak to fighting, with Marshadows going around everywhere and the occasional Passimian. It's not the best weakness to have, but he does resist Psychic by 20, which makes your Garb matchup not that difficult. So we got 4 of those. Next up on our list, we have 2 of the brand new Darkrai GX from Sun and Moon Burning Shadows. I've been considering bumping it up to 3, but you definitely don't want to start with this on your field as your basic when you start the game, and that's because this Darkrai has the ability Restoration. Once during your turn before you attack, if this Pokemon is in your discard pile, you may put it onto your bench, and then attach a Darkness energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon. This is great with Ultra Ball, because Ultra Ball lets you discard 2 cards from your hand to search out any Pokemon you want. So you can Ultra Ball for another Darkrai EX or a Tapu Lele or anything else in the deck that you might need at the moment, and then you can bring this Darkrai back out onto your bench with a Darkness Energy. Having a Darkness Energy on it means that our friend Darkrai EX is powered up by another 20. So it's great just to boost another 20 that turn. His first attack is Dark Cleave for 2 darkness and a colorless. It does 130. This attack isn't affected by resistance, and he has Dead End GX, a move we'll probably never use in this deck. If your opponent's active Pokemon is affected by a special condition, that Pokemon's knocked out. That's awesome, and there's a lot of possibilities to combine this with a bunch of other cards like, I don't know, Alolan Muck or the Hypno that's still in rotation that lets you put both active Pokemon to sleep. You can do some shenanigans there, but for now, we're almost never going to attack with this if we can avoid it. This is just there to use Restoration. Next up, we've got 2 of the Baby Yveltal. This will still be in Standard because it was reprinted in, I believe, Generations. 130 HP. For 1 darkness, you can do Oblivion Wing. It does 30 damage, and you can attach a darkness energy from your discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. Again, awesome for accelerating the energy onto your Pokemon so that Darkrai EX can hit for massive numbers. Its second move is another thing we'll probably never use. That's Darkness Blade. It does 100 for 2 darkness and a colorless. Flip a coin. If tails, this Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. Not great. 2 times weak to lightning, resists fighting by 20, so it's good to get that fighting resistance at least in the deck somewhere. I don't think I talked about it, but your Darkrai GX also resists Psychic by 20 and is 2 times weak to fighting. Next, we've got the meta herself, Tapu Lele. I've got a nice fancy full art one here. 170 HP, not much to say. Everybody's running 2 or 3 Tapu Lele. Some people are running 4. And almost any deck in the meta, you need Tapu Lele. You're going to see Tapu Lele. Wonder Tag just lets you search your deck for a supporter when you put this Pokemon onto your bench. And Energy Drive. This is a great Pokemon to stack energy onto with your Max Elixirs and with your Yveltal. It also gives you at least sort of a fighting chance against the Pokemon that resist Dark, like a Gardevoir, which is your biggest enemy when you play this deck. We don't have the energy to use its GX attack, Tapu Cure, so we're not even going to talk about that one right now. Tapu Lele is very clutch. Get your Tapu Leles, guys. You need them. They're expensive, but suck it up. We're running 1 Marshadow GX. He's one of these annoying rainbow rares, so I'm not sure if you can really see him in this lighting. Marshadow's in here for anything that's weak to fighting. Drampa's still everywhere. We're seeing Tauros occasionally. If you're ever in the mirror match, Darkrai is weak to fighting. We're only using Marshadow for his ability, Shadow Hunt. This Pokemon can use the attacks of any basic Pokemon in your discard pile. You still need the necessary energy to do so. If your Darkrai EX is in your discard pile because it's been knocked out or you had a bad Sycamore and you had to get rid of it, you can still use this Dark Pulse, and now it's a fighting type. This is an awesome card. The problem is that 150 HP means that it's going to be one-hit KO'd by a lot of things. But he's good as a one-turn attacker or something that'll dominate some of those annoying normal attackers that we've had going on in the meta. Next up, this is a controversial one. This is one I just put in the deck today. I'm not sure if he's going to make the cut long-term. This is Drampa GX. I felt like I needed more draw power. He's in here for Big Wheel. For his Big Wheel GX is shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw 10 cards for one colorless. It's awesome if you are decked out, or we don't really have a GX attacker that we use in GX Attack 4, so this is a great tech in this deck. Righteous Edge for one colorless does 20, and you can discard a special energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. We're rarely going to use that, or his second attack, which is Berserk. For 3 colorless, it does 80 plus another 70 if your benched Pokemon have any damage counters on them. This also 2 times weak to fighting with no resistance, 180 HP. I think it's a good tech for the deck. Drampa can go into any deck because he's colorless. It's a great card. And I believe this is last for our Pokemon in the deck. Another one that I'm not sure if it's going to make the cut long term. This is a Oranguru. Everybody's running 4 Ns now, guys. So if you've only got one prize left and they N, you're going to have 1 card left in your hand. Or if you play your whole hand, you can use this ability, Instruct. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may draw 3 cards, or you may draw cards so you have 3 in your hand. 120 HP, again, 2 times weak to fighting, and his first move, and only attack, is Psychic. Does 60 plus 20 more damage times the amount of energy attached to yours and your opponent's active Pokemon. Oranguru, very fun card. Another card that we're going to see a lot more play now that Shaman's rotating out. So next up, we're going to talk about our supporters, and I just told you guys that everybody's playing 4N. N did survive the rotation because of his reprint and probably Generations. I'm not 100% sure, don't quote me on that. Might even have been because of the promo, actually. But N is still here, and everybody's playing 4. Each player shuffles his or her hand into his or her deck, then each player draws a card for each of his or her remaining prizes. We have to play smarter now that there's no VS Seekers, so we're not going to hit a billion Sycamores. We can't just get rid of our supporters every turn. So N's going to let us shuffle our hand back into our deck. Plus, if we're behind, we can get some card advantage. If our opponent only has a couple prizes left, they'll be down to 2 or 1 cards in their hand. Here's Sycamore. Although we're not running 4, we are still going to run 3 because Sycamore's too good not to run 3. Discard your hand and draw 7 cards. That's an amazing thing to do. We don't want to throw away our supporters as casually as we have in the past, but in this deck, it's not the worst thing in the world to throw away our energy and these Darkrai GX because we can grab them back. Also, sometimes you just need that hand refresh. So Professor Sycamore, you're clutch as always. I love you. You're one of my favorite cards. Next up, it's your boy. We're running 3 copies of Guzman. Guzman is an amazing card. He's new for the Burning Shadows set, and you're seeing him everywhere. It's the new Lysander, folks. What this Pokemon does, or what this supporter does, the same thing as Escape Rope, basically. Switch your opponent's benched Pokemon with their active Pokemon, which means you get to choose what they send out, just like Lysander. So it's a little better than Escape Rope. And if you do so, switch your active Pokemon with one of your benched. You can pull a lot of shenanigans with this, and because we are, as you'll see later, we are going to play Altar of the Moon, we're going to be able to retreat our Darkrai for free, so we can just drag up whatever we want, and then retreat back into the Darkrai we want to attack with by using Guzman. Very fun, all kinds of shenanigans you can pull there. Continuing on our supporter line, we're running a one-of for Pokemon Fan Club. Instead of Bridget, I've seen people tell me to use Bridget. I don't want to do that because I can only search for one EX with her, and all the Pokemon I want for the most part are going to be EXs if I'm going to put them straight on the bench. Pokemon Fan Club lets you search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon, reveal them, put them in your hand, shuffle your deck afterward. You can search for 2 Darkrai EX, a Tapu Lele, a Darkrai GX, and you can Ultra Ball it away. It's just a great utility card to have, especially in the early game. Next up, another card. I'm not sure if it'll survive the list or not. I might replace it with an Acerola. We've got a Professor Kukui, and as you can see, I've got this beautiful full art right here. Professor Kukui, draw 2 cards. During this turn, your Pokemon's attacks do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Doing extra damage is always great. Drawing cards is always great. There's almost never a downside to playing Kukui, especially if it's the only supporter in your hand. Doing an extra 10 damage, or 20 damage, is absolutely amazing in any circumstance. And lastly, for our supporter line, we are running 1 Hala. Another fancy full art here. This is actually my favorite full art ever. I love Hala. Shuffle your hand into your deck. If you have used your GX attack, draw 7 cards. If not, draw 4. This is great, especially if you used that Big Wheel GX from Drampa earlier to always get the cards back, or to replenish your hand when you need them. Hala is amazing. He works in any deck that uses GXs, I think. I wish that he saw more play. I think he might see more play, especially with Shaman going away in the new rotation. Moving on to our items, guys. We are playing a pretty item-heavy deck, but we do resist Psychic, so Garb isn't that bad of a matchup for us here. I'm running 4 Max Elixir. Max Elixir lets you look at the top 6 cards of your deck, attach a basic energy you find there to a basic Pokemon on your bench. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. Need I say more, guys? This just lets you play an extra energy every turn as long as you hit the energy with the Max Elixir, which you're not guaranteed to do all the time, but it's definitely worth the try. This is why we call it Turbo Dark, guys, because we're getting these energies out as fast as we can to pump up that Darkrai EX attack. Next up, we're running 4 Ultra Ball. Still running 4 Ultra Ball in just about every deck, guys, because it's too good not to. Ultra Ball, especially in conjunction with Darkrai GX and a Darkness Energy, is super, super great for this deck. Discard 2 cards from your hand. If you can't discard 2 cards, you can't play this card. Search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck afterward. Ultra Ball is clutch. I can't think of a single deck right now that we've lost Dive Ball, that isn't going to be running at least a few of those. Next up on our list, we've got 2 Field Blower. Field Blower, again, too good not to include in every deck. Choose up to 2 in any combination of Pokemon Tool and Pokemon Stadium cards in play, yours or your opponent's, and discard them. Get rid of your opponent's annoying stadiums, get rid of those float stones on your opponent's Garbodors that are blocking you from using your Restoration, and send it out that way. You can also get rid of Fighting Fury Belts that are pumping up your opponent's Pokemon. The possibilities are endless. Field Blower is an amazing card. Field Blower is also one of the reasons this deck is not as powerful as we want it to be. And that's because it can blow away, your opponent can use Field Blower to blow away cards like this that we need in this deck, which are equipments. Wishful Baton. If the Pokemon this card is attached to is your active Pokemon and is knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack, move up to 3 basic energy cards from that Pokemon to one of your benched Pokemon. If your Darkrai, that's stacked full of energy, gets knocked out, you can move its energy over to a different Darkrai that's on your bench. It's awesome if it doesn't get blown away, but unfortunately Field Blower is so common, it tends to get blown away. And another thing that we're doing to speed our deck up a little bit, we're only running 2. I might try to replace something with another 1 or 2 even of these experience shares, but the Field Blower does hurt us a lot. When your active Pokemon's knocked out by damage from an opponent's attack, you may move 1 basic energy card from that Pokemon to the Pokemon this card is attached to. Usually I'll put it on Tapu Lele or Marshadow or another Darkrai just to try to get those energy away from the discard pile and keep them on the field. We are running 3 Choice Band and no copies of Fighting Fury Belt because we need to pump that damage up fast, and since Field Blower is so prominent, people are just going to blow away your extra 40 damage, and I would rather get the 30 damage that Choice Band adds over the 10 that Fighting Fury Belt's going to add. Choice Band just makes it so your attacks will do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon GX or Pokemon EX before applying weakness and resistance. This card's amazing and awesome. It's great to just get that extra 30 damage as soon as we play the card. And we have 4 Stadium cards in this deck, guys, and it's 4 copies of Altar of the Moon. Altar of the Moon is amazing when you're playing a Dark or Psychic deck. The retreat cost of each Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's, that has any Psychic or Darkness energy attached to it is 2 less when you have Altar of the Moon out. This is awesome because we are playing 3 copies of Guzman, and I've already told you guys about the free retreat shenanigans we can get with this after we've Guzma'd out our opponent's Pokemon that they were trying to keep safe on the bench. And lastly, we have our energy count for this deck, guys. I am running 14 Darkness Energies. Maybe I'll boost it to 15, maybe I'll cut it down to 12, I'm not sure. I'm still testing, but 14 seems to be the magic number right now. We're running so many because we're trying to stack energy, and we have ways to accelerate that energy, and we're not afraid to send it to our discard pile, since we can get it back with Darkrai GX or with Yveltal, the baby one. And that's it, guys. Again, this is not the best Tier 1, gonna win any regionals anytime soon deck, but it is one that you can play for fun, and it does have some really good matchups in the meta right now. I'm going to continue to tweak it. I'm going to upload a video very soon where I'm testing it online. Testing decks online right now for the new rotation is tough because at the time of this recording, everybody's testing for Worlds, and it just can't keep up with decks that are running Max Elixirs and things of the sort from the old meta. But guys, if you want more videos like this, we're going to keep them coming. If you don't mind requesting any decks in the comments, please feel free to do so. I'm going to do one on another Darkrai list that probably uses the Hypno sometime soon. I'm also going to do a Tapu Bulu video. And also, guys, you can check out our live streams. We do them every Wednesday at 7 o'clock p.m. for about 2 hours. That's Eastern Standard Time over on the YouTube channel Sardos TV. You can also please feel free to subscribe to our dedicated Pokemon channel at Pokelore. You can join our Discord chat, our website at pokelore.pro.phpbb.com. There is an invite link to that Discord chat right there. And we've got a lot of things going on here on Pokelore, guys. We've got a podcast coming out soon. I'm really excited to bring all this content to you guys. Until next time, I've been your host, Professor Snorlax, and I hope you have an awesome day.